Hey everyone, I'm Artie and welcome to Weekly Gaming Traffic, where I briefly show and talk about most interesting, in my opinion, games that has been released in the last week. Let's start from a war game, because war never changes. Especially World War II, which is the background of the finally fully released MMO first-person shooter titled Heroes and Generals. No laser guns here, only authentic arsenal of weapons, tanks, planes, and you can even ride a bicycle with your friend. The game looks appealing, and most of all, it's free to play. The word is that Heroes and General is bad because it's grindy and microtransactions give players some advantages. I mean, come on, you should learn by now how free-to-play MMOs are. I played it, I liked it, and it's free to check out. Life is tough, it's not easy to live to fight another day. But in Think to Die, you actually have to find a way to kill yourself to pass to another level. Puzzling concept, I would say. The game is free, so it doesn't hurt to check it out. Since we are still in the free-to-play section, let's space out a bit and take a look at fractures in the universe caused by tactical combat in fully released multiplayer online battle arena game called Fractured Space. First of all, it looks stunning and it's Unreal Engine 4 fault. You can fight solo in PvE, in cooperative, or 5-on-5 PvP battle. You are a commander of a huge vessel. You customize your ship to your combat preferences and you fly into the beautiful darkness of space to conquer, kill, and get resources to be even bigger and more powerful. The game is free to play. We stay in the area of guns, explosions, and countless battles, but this time in old school arcade style. Not for free, yet affordable. Ballistic Tanks offer lots of fun with friends and perhaps strangers, as long as they are local strangers. You can of course play solo or in cooperative mode, but the goal is simply challenging. Shoot others without letting them shoot you in many game modes. Have you ever wanted to be a star in a survival TV show? Now you can, for a good price. Watch This is a first-person platformer with horror elements. Well, actually jump scare elements. Traps, treasures, partially randomly generated maze, which sounds intriguing, and 3 unique types of monsters. 3. Well, I don't know about the gameplay, but the game is very nice to watch this. Speaking of platformer games and Unreal Engine, but in old school form. Imagine that you live in a small village at the bottom of a windy mountain. One day, the never-ending source of energy for your village, the wind, starts to fade. You must get to the top of the mountain and see what's going on. In Talewind, the wind is a core mechanic and you better have some skills or oops, here comes the gravity. What else from the platformers world released in the last week? We've got Pankapu, narrative and episodic action 2D platformer with 2 parallel stories between dreams and reality. Pankapu gives you everything you could expect from a platformer game, plus features like a skill tree unlocking abilities and beautiful soundtrack. For those who prefer darker shades of gameplay, Dreadbit presents you its newest release called Seraph, a skill-based acrobatic shooter without aiming, as they call it. Seraph is an angel who mastered the art of Gun Fu. Seraph wakes up, surely not in heaven, thrown out of some kind of cyberpunkish pod, weakened without her guards, ready to kill. The game offers dynamic difficulty scaling, procedurally generated levels filled with random pickups, enemies and of course bosses, wide range of deadly firearms, miracles and protective items which can be crafted. There's also a cool feature for streamers. The game can be played in Twitch mode, allowing viewers to vote between levels to give the streamer a positive or negative modifiers impacting the game. For example, more elite enemies in the next section of the game. Pavilion, a fourth-person puzzling adventure game published and developed by Vision Trick Media. The game looks and sounds absolutely incredible. Fans of Transistor, just don't listen to me and go check it out now. This game made me act like I was in a library. Shh, quiet, I'm playing, do not disturb. Pavilion throws you right into its beautifully mysterious world. No tutorials, no how to play. You get to know the game by observing and interacting with the surreal, dreamlike environment. The soundtrack by Tony Gerber puts you deeper and deeper into the dreamy atmosphere of an unknown. Pavilion is a truly work of art. Okay, time to wake up from dreamy worlds. Well, not really. Toy Odyssey puts us in shoes of an action figure that has come to life. Why? To save our owner, Felix. I know what you're thinking now, but no, it's not that Felix. Since we are at introductions, the action figure name is Brand. Of which brand? We don't know that. All we know is that we have to protect Felix from nightmares and uncover secrets before it's too late. All that happens at night, so it's really late. As you can see, the game is an action platformer with procedurally generated levels, more than 300 types of enemies, 7 bosses, and hundreds of weapons, items and upgrades to craft. Over 30,000 lines of dialogue for those who want a good story, but you can totally skip it if it makes you fall asleep. Toy Odyssey is developed and published by Hiker Games. How about getting out of the house and go for a road trip? Where? To Italy, since all the roads lead to Rome. When? In 1970s. Why? Because back in 70s in Italy, it was a time of terrorism, kidnapping and political turmoil. Therefore, ending up in a car chase or illegal street race with a priest on the backseat was a normal thing. And this is what Wheels of Aurelia is about. Technically, it's a narrative isometric racer with choices to make and 16 different endings. Interesting or not, it's definitely something original. The game is developed and published by Santa Regione. Next in line, but surely not less original, is a production titled Dogsled Saga. In this game we are a musher with our own dog sledding team. We can hire dogs, train them, learn about their unique traits, and fire the ones who only want to bite postmen. You can even breed puppies and manage your staff. Sadly, you cannot breed your staff workers. All that to make you compete in dog sled or sled dog races. Concept of the game is truly exceptional. It's worth checking out, not only by animal lovers. You learned of the sudden death of your uncle 2 days ago. When you reach the estate of your deceased relative, you find it deserted. Why is Alois the butler not here to receive you? Something is not right. Vernons Legacy is a first-person perspective horror adventure. The story is inspired by real events that took place nearly a century ago. during World War I times, because war never changes. Unreal technology makes the Dunkenhof Manor look really nicely old and scary. Letters and notes of the former inhabitants of the place reveal to you the events of the past few years. But what lurks beneath the house in the old vaults is beyond any imagination. To get there, the game offers sophisticated puzzles with a variety of approaches to be solved. Did I mention that war never changes? In the uncertain, the war has ended, and people, well, there are no people. They're gone, long ago. The world has been rewritten as a set of zeros and ones. AI robots populate the planet now, and they've created a perfect society. They don't act irrationally like us. Engineering robot Artie 217NP, I'm not joking, seems to be very curious about the human race. That's interesting start for this classic 3D story-driven adventure. Of course, it wouldn't be classic without diverse puzzles to solve and moral choices to make when only logic rules the world. Amazing graphics, accompanied with thoughtful music, make the game even more interesting to check. The Uncertain is developed and published by Common Games. From the overwhelming heights of story-driven adventures, we go back to the arcade depths of underground explosions. Gun Bombers is a round-based multiplayer, top-down 2D arena shooter. Up to 10 players can go to randomly generated and fully destructible mines for gold, treasures, and to wipe out the competition, as in each other. I know what you're thinking, and no, you don't wipe them with your pickaxe. The arsenal is huge, everything from a simple shotgun to exploding dog. If you don't have 10 friends, don't worry, you can always play with someone from this strange place called the internet. If blasting aliens in arcade style gives you joy and you like tanks, trucks and airplanes, then you should check this game out pronto. Even though it says simulation in the game description, it's not a simulation. This game is made to let some steam out after work or just waste time in a good way to stop alien invasion. Pure, mindless fun in a good sense. I don't know if this was Mr. Alexei Glinsky, the creator of GEARGUNS' intention, but it is what it is. Fun, arcade, tank, truck, airplane shooter. Okay, time to move to something more serious. Not really, even though Zenith looks like a serious action RPG with wizards, adventures and powerful artifacts. Under the coat of typical, you could say, RPG, there are tons of parodies and pop culture references. Fight against hordes of dangerous foes, huge bosses and angsty teenagers. And well, yeah, save the world in some way. Oh, I forgot to mention, Zenith is a single-player game developed by Infineon and published by Badland Games. Oh, and the game contains shit and words. I mean bad language. Don't say I didn't warn ya. Finally, my cup of rain. I mean, whatever. GSC Game World finally released Cossacks 3. It's a real-time strategy set somewhere between 17th and 18th century. Even though it is said that Cossacks 3 is a remake of its predecessor, I think it can be treated as a new game. I mean, come on, it's been like 15 years. So, in very short, the game is about going to war, and wars are massive here. Up to 10,000 units on the battlefield. 12 nations to choose from and lead to battle. Hold up. We need an army to go to war, which means we must train it. To train an army, we need strong and stable economy. So we must build, develop, and upgrade. Single player offers 5 historical campaigns. We can also fight in random battles on randomly generated maps against so-called computer, or up to 8 players can fight each other on one map in multiplayer. Finally, a decent old-school RTS in modern and fashionable clothes. Time for a dessert. Last 2 games I want to talk about are intriguing, interesting, but definitely not for everyone. Hackmud is a massively multiplayer, cyberpunk-themed, text-based hacking simulation. We have a main storyline here as well as side content. Instead of graphic interface, we have a retro futuristic text-based computing interface which actually performs some cool graphic effects. We do not hack in silence. A nice electronic soundtrack flows to our ears, and we are not alone because this is an online game. Now, thing is, the game can interest someone who is interested in it, if it makes any sense. So I can say anything about this game, but you already decided if you want to check it out or not. Children of a Dead Earth lets us design our own spacecrafts using real-world technologies like nuclear thermal rockets or magnetoplasma dynamic thrusters in a free form. The solar system is modeled completely to scale. N-body simulator from NASA, hyperbolic orbits, orbital perturbation, everything is extremely accurately simulated. Not to mention, or actually I should mention, that you can tweak everything in your spaceship. The nozzle is too short? No problem. Optimizing stoichiometric mixture of your bipropellant rockets? You got it. Material properties and chemical reactions are physically correct and accurate. So why all this? Why? Well, because war never changes. And space warfare simulation has to be super fun, right? And it will not hurt if we learn something too. The game offers campaign and sandbox modes. The first puts us in shoes of an admiral, space admiral, to fight through a detailed storyline. Second one lets us freely design ships and making them fight each other. Keep in mind that the game is not in never-ending early access. It has been fully released. So if it doesn't sound like fun, I'm done. Actually, I am done when it comes to more interesting game releases of the last week. So thanks for watching and see you next week, whether you like it or not. Bye.